But the things that I see, I'm like, where's all the men at? Where are they at? I don't understand the new fad with the looking girly. I just don't understand it.
Amen.
Where's the men? We failed as men. We're not being the spiritual leaders. If you look at all the churches out here, what are the majority in the church? Women. Why? Because they're the ones leading. We're too busy out working 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, providing for our family when they're falling apart.
That's right.
We're not worried about going to church. We're worried about, bringing that money in, or providing for our family because they got to get a new car, or new clothes, or whatever. God provides all that. I look at it like this: my kids are only young once. They're going to be old forever. Like my daughter's 15.
Wow.
3 more years. Thank you. She's 15. 3 more years, she's going to be 18. She's going to be out of the house. Both my boys are almost 10.
Wow.
They're only young once. Might as well spend some time with them. Don't focus on that big mighty dollar, because you're going to need more, regardless of however much you work or however much you make. You're always going to want more. And then you're going to look back when you're 60 years old and your kids are 40, and they're going to be like, well, I wish I would have had time with them. I wish I had spent a little more time with them.
That's right.
They're not worried about that Game Boy that they got them or whatever it is. You're going to have regrets. And I listen to so many older people that have all those regrets. Another one that I see men struggle with is pride. They don't want to ask for help. Or they don't need help. They don't need this, or they don't need that. You can get help from anybody, The way I see our trials and troubles is that when we conquer them, then we can help other people.
That's right.
You let other people help other people. That's the way you do it. Swallow your pride for a little bit and accept some help. If you need directions, get directions. I love asking people for directions, but I love talking to people too, so it don't bother me. I'm going to read a verse here of a proud heart. It's in Proverbs. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Throughout hand joined in hand, he shall not be unpunished. And then I wrote, God cannot work with an unwilling heart.
That's right.
It's just, that's what it's all about. That's the pride of it. You got an unwilling heart to accept any kind of help. He says that's an abomination. All right, men? Are you guys listening? If you need help, ask for help. It's so important. With this Kairos thing that we've been going to, the Jailhouse Ministry, and then the Emmaus Walk, the thing that they made us do is, the very first thing they made us do was tell our struggles. That's both places, which are headed up by 2 separate people. Both of them said to tell our struggles. Why? Because we need help. That prideful heart, it's unwillingness. God cannot work with that. It's not going to happen. Okay. How to fix it? How to help? What can we do to help? Like I said, being led by the Spirit earlier, the one example that I have is I decided that I was led by the Spirit to read my Bible. Every day I was going to read my Bible. So I told Cindy, I said, I'm going to read the Bible every night. I'm going to have devotions every night. I didn't ask her. I said, that's what I'm going to do. I didn't say, you're going to do it. I said, that's what I'm going to do. If you want to follow, follow. If not, stay there. I don't care. I know what I'm doing. She says, well, I guess I'll do it too. That's being led by the Spirit. That's what it means to lead. I could care less of what anybody else is doing. I want my spirituality to be in check. That's what I want. And in turn, my wife followed. Because it wasn't a bad idea. It was actually a good idea. And it was helpful. Oh. I do this right here. I tell the devil, I will stand for God. And then I tell God, please let me stand for you. Because it is tough. I'm only human. But I plead with God all the time. Please, let me just walk the way that you want me to walk. Don't let me get selfish and do what I want. I want to do what you want. That's the important part of leading. The important part of leading is to know when to follow. And it's Christ who you always need to be focusing on. Don't always focus on what other people are doing. If I focus on Pastor Tim, then I'm going to want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. You know, that's his struggle. That's one of his struggles. You know, if I want to listen to my wife, she's got other issues. I don't have that. So I'm going to be led in the wrong direction. I follow Jesus. Jesus didn't have no wrongs, but he sure is willing to point out mine. But it's only for my benefit. It's not for any other benefit but my own. Oh. Joshua 24:15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served, that were on the other side of the flood, or the God of the Amorites, in which ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, I will serve the Lord. I don't serve anybody else. I don't have no desire to serve anybody else. God has done so much for me personally. The desire to serve anybody else is pretty much gone. Now, do I stray away at times? Do I want to go other ways? Of course I do. Of course. And God has to, over here, Nate, over here. Come on now. And then he'll give me little pick-me-ups where somebody will say, Nate, I think you're doing a good job. Or Nate, I see you doing this and that really inspired me. Or whatever it is like that. I get that all the time because sometimes I don't know whether I'm doing right or wrong. Sometimes I don't pay attention. I don't watch for the little traps. But God knows when I start struggling, he'll give me those pick-me-ups. And that'll get me back on the path. And I just appreciate that so much because I am not the best person to be a follower. I'm not much of a follower. I never have been. It's hard for me to take orders. It's hard for me to accept certain things. I'm very impatient. And it's, those things I work on all the time. But I ask God all the time to show me things that I need to do. As the father, as the spiritual leader, I ask God all the time, Lord, show me what to do. Show me how I need to be. Because I can't do it alone. I have no idea even what I'm doing. None. I see a lot of fathers not really take time for their kids. One thing you can do, sit with them for a minute. Read a book to them. Take 10 minutes out. 10 minutes. If they want to help you work on something with a hammer, no matter how old they are, give them the stupid hammer. They will only be in your way for a minute. Their little span on trying to focus on something is not very long. Guarantee you that. All you have to do is just say, okay, all right, here, let me show you how it's done. I did that with Nate when he was probably a year old. I was doing something to the carpet. make a little walkway or something. And he's like, I help. I was like, yeah, sure, get over here, man. Yeah, here, grab the hammer, you know. Did he do it right? Heck no, he didn't. Oh. Did I have to redo it? Yeah. How long did it take for me to do that for him, though? About 10 minutes. He was done. He was off playing something else. But I didn't ruin his little spirit, and I didn't get aggravated about it. Because the time is going to be like that, where they're going to grow up. And you're not going to be able to have that little precious moment where you're spending time with them, teaching them things. It's so important that we try to figure out what to do and what not to do as far as with our families. I failed many times with my wife and with my kids. My kids will tell you, my wife will tell you. But I always try to apologize. I always try to make it up. Cindy hates it when I do that. But I do it anyway. I know that, we get busy. Fathers, we get busy. Men, we get busy. Don't be too busy for your wife and kids. Don't be too busy to where you can't do things with them. That time is going to be gone. And they're old. They're going to be grown up, and they're not going to need you. And you're going to want that back. You're going to need that time back, and it's not going to be there. Because they don't need you anymore like they did when they were little. And when they're little, it's frustrating. You hear them crying, or you hear them, doing certain things, and it's like, jeez, man, it'd just be a lot easier if I could just do it real quick. Of course it would be. But are you teaching them something? As we were at this Emmaus walk, I heard Cats in the Cradle. Remember that song? How many of you know the words to that song? You know it by heart? Have you seen the words, read it? That stupid song had me crying like a baby. Because we just don't realize what we have until it's gone.
Exactly.
Alright, so I'm going to read it. I'm going to try to choke back tears because I already know I'm going to. But I'm going to read it. I'm not going to sing it. Okay? I know. And I thought it was kind of funny that they played this song too, because it didn't have nothing to do with Christ. It didn't have nothing to do with anything else. But it does have something to do with men and fathers. Okay. My child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in an unusual way. But there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away. And he was talking before I knew it. As he grew, he said, I'm going to be like you, Dad. You know I'm going to be like you. The Cat's in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon, Little Boy Blue and the Man on the Moon. When you coming home, Dad, I don't know when. But we'll get together then, son. You know we'll get together. We'll have a good time then. My son turned 10 just the other day. He said, thanks for the ball, Dad. Come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today. I got a lot to do. He said, that's okay. And then he walked away, but his smile never dimmed. He said, I'm going to be like him, yeah. You know I'm going to be like him. And the Cat's in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon, Little Boy Blue, the Man on the Moon. When you coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, son. You know we'll have a good time then. Well, he came from college just the other day. So much like a man, I had to say, son, I'm proud of you. Can you sit for a while? He shook his head and said with a smile, what I'd really like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. See you later. Can I have them, please? And the Cat's in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon, Little Boy Blue, the Man on the Moon. When you coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then. I've long since retired, my son's moved away. I called him up just the other day. I said I'd like to see you, if you don't mind. He said, I'd love you, Dad. I'd love to, Dad. But I couldn't find the time. You see, my new job's a hassle, and the kids have the flu. But it sure is nice talking to you, Dad. It's sure been nice talking to you. That's how it is. That's how so many fathers I see it. Don't be like that.